Another of Powell's biographers, Donald Wooster, gives us this insight into Powell's life when he said, Powell's life is also a story of the rising influence of the natural sciences, of rationalism contesting the faith of traditional religion, and of a new nationalism and secularism taking its place. As he was coming of age, science was rising to influence the study of nature and culture and even the making of laws. In his day, science meant, above all, geology, evolution, and Darwinism, the contest of those ideas with what is now called religious fundamentalism for the supremacy of the American mind is mirrored in Powell as nowhere else, unquote. So is this all about the supremacy of the human mind and what society should be led to believe? John Wesley Powell was inspired by the writings of Lewis Henry Morgan on the stages of human evolution, as he would realize that he could use these evolutionary concepts as a tool for social reform. Powell's conviction that every variant could be placed somewhere on this evolutionary stairway gave direction and system to Powell's work in ethnology, unquote. Emerging from this evolutionary stairway would be the enthronement of Darwinism, creating a new social vision for society as they would begin to view the origin of man and the origin of society through this lens of evolutionary thought, changing how society views and values the American Indian, mound building cultures, children, marriage, and family. They understood that these evolutionary theories into the origin of man could be a powerful force in changing societal views. As stated, Powell, further saw that the result of this interaction would ramify onward for generations and would have a profound consequence for the land and for American society. The profound consequences are many. For if you want to advance in the sciences or the academic community, to assert that there was others here before Columbus that came from the East is almost taboo. It is very much like talking about creationism or intelligent design, which is also taboo topics. That if you really want to advance or have your papers published or be recognized in the scientific or academic community, you can't even go there. Anything that has a connection of God's hands involved in any of the organization found in nature is an area that most in the academic and scientific community are afraid to enter. After running the mighty Colorado, John Wesley Powell became a national folk hero. As the stories of his encounters with the Indians and the Mormons became legendary, as he would return to the East to find his professional home in Washington, D.C., where he became director of the Bureau of Ethnology at the Smithsonian, along with director over the U.S. Geological Survey Department for the government and director over mound building exploration. In these positions, he would have a profound influence on the artifacts of how they would be classified and how society would come to view these ancient mound building cultures. In 1880, Powell, as director of the Bureau of American Ethnology at the Smithsonian, began the task of debunking these honored authors, Squire and Davis, to overthrow the idea as to the origin of the lost race, this lost race theory. Cyrus Thomas, the man who reported to the Bureau of Ethnology in 1894, became known as the final and last word as to the origin of the mound builders, bringing a swift stop to virtually all major explorations of the mound sites of the Hopewell and Dina cultures, doing away with the thought of a lost race, giving the Indians credit for building the mounds, but not giving them credit for their great cultural achievements. In every way, trying to make the Indians and these ancient cultures appear as savage and primitive as possible. For if they appear to be savages, then perhaps you don't have to give them rights under a constitutional law and thus take away their lands. Powell would state that social problems are so complex that few are willing and able to comprehend all the factors. And so people are divided into two great parties, one crying for the blood, demanding the destruction of the Indians, and others begging that they may be left in their aboriginal condition, and that the progress of civilization may be stayed. Powell goes on to state, whether we desire it or not, the ancient inhabitants of this country must be lost, and we may comfort ourselves in the reflection that they are not destroyed, but are gradually absorbed to become part of a more civilized communities. These men believed that these evolutionary ideas were the way for greater insight, providing emancipation from traditional family beliefs and religious dogmas, as they would look to create this new social vision and a whole new morality for society. To accomplish such tasks, they knew that it would take the galvanizing of academic and scientific communities.